Hey everybody, Sean from Movie Assault here, and it is time for my July Blu-ray pickups video. Today is July 31st. Tomorrow is August 1st. I don't believe I'll be purchasing anything today, although with the number of Blu-rays I have this month, it isn't out of the question because I've been buying things like crazy this month. So I've got a lot to show you, a lot to get into. Myrtle is going to assist me by providing emotional support, so say hi, Myrtle. Anyway, so let's get right into it. Some of these that you've seen in previous videos that I've made this month. The first one that I'm going to show you is the one I just did an unboxing of the other day, and then I'll continue through my eBay pickups. Then I've got a couple of things that I randomly bought off of Amazon, and Twilight Time order, a Hamilton book order, and then Dollar Tree stuff. So it's been a very prolific month for my collection. So first off, I will show you the story of science fiction, James Cameron's story of science fiction. Picked this up from Amazon on release day, did an unboxing of it recently, so you've seen the inside of this. But this features a lot of interviews with directors and actors and other people associated with science fiction films. I'm really looking forward to seeing this. I have not started watching this yet. Trying to figure out where I should put these when I'm done with them. This is, actually, I've got a good story about this one. This is Black Panther, but this is also available for a giveaway. There is a link in the discussion tab. I'll also put a link in this video. That's good for another couple of days. I'm actually giving this away because I bought it by accident. I bought it in a lot off of eBay. I've already owned this. This is there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. It's still sealed. So check the link below for a link to my Facebook page where you can enter your information, and I will be doing a giveaway of this particular Blu-ray. And the reason I bought it was because it came with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. This is a 2-disc Blu-ray DVD combo. I had to buy a new case for it because the case it came in was broken, but that's why I got it very cheap. I think with Black Panther, the two of them together was $15, I think, so I got an excellent deal with that. So this is a great movie. I'm still trying to pick up all of the Marvel Cinematic Universe films. I don't have all of them on Blu-ray. I've got a lot of the early ones, like the Phase 1 and Phase 2 films, but I don't have many of the Phase 3 films, and I don't have any of the Phase 4 films except for Spider-Man Far From Home. I don't think I got Endgame either. So yeah, I'm still looking to pick some of those up, so that helped. Speaking of comic books, I picked this up from eBay. This is the 4K Ultra HD version of Shazam. I love this movie. This is by far my favorite of the DCEU films. This is just hilarious. I'm very happy with what DC has done with their latest round of movies. I have not seen Birds of Prey yet. But this and Aquaman were major improvements over the sort of doom and gloom of the first couple movies in the DCEU. So I hope they continue on that path. Wonder Woman was also very good, but Shazam is by far my favorite so far. This is a film, and some of these are films that I've been buying again that I used to own, and for whatever reason sold. And I'm trying to get them back into my collection. First of which is The Tree of Life. This, of course, is a Terrence Malick film starring Brad Pitt and Sean Penn. I purchased this for $1.50 off of eBay, and I fully intend to watch it. I purchased it brand new when it came out, I think, and then I ended up selling it. It was still sealed. So I'm still replacing a lot of the things that I sold. And Myrtle is apparently going to not assist me anymore and is going to lay down. Okay. Say goodbye to Myrtle. This is Leslie Nielsen in the original Naked Gun film from the Files of Police Squad, one of my all-time favorite comedies, and I can't believe I never had this before. Picked this up off of eBay for $2.50. This I picked up from Amazon. I think we're moving into some Amazon, some eBay, Amazon stuff. Haven't seen this yet. Really looking forward to watching this. This is Krull, and this comes in this cool VHS retro style packaging. I think this is very cool. This is the slipcover. The actual disc has the original Blu-ray art. This comes from Mill Creek, but this is the 1980s fantasy, sci-fi fantasy. I guess it was a failure when it came out at the box office. I have never seen it. Somehow I have avoided watching it for all these years. Again, this is the retro packaging. Looks like a videotape coming out of the box, the slipcover. Although they didn't come out that way, they came out of the bottom, so I don't know if this gets points for accuracy, but it is still fairly cool with the sci-fi video rental tag on it and the warning that the video cassette will melt if you leave it in the car or left in the sun. Surprised there isn't a Be Kind Rewind sticker on there, but that would probably confuse people. Another film that I purchased to re-add to my collection is Red Tails. This was a story of the Tuskegee Airmen in World War II. I did a review of this on my old channel, and I will probably be reposting that on this channel at some point. But this is a fairly entertaining movie. It's got a lot of CGI in it. I want to watch it again. I've only seen it once, but not the greatest movie, but it is fun and entertaining, and especially for me because I like World War II aviation stuff. This has, on the cover, it's got a Messerschmitt 262 jet fighter, the world's first operational jet fighter, and it also features the P-51D Mustang, which is my favorite American fighter of World War II. You just learned something. Pick this up. I have not watched this yet. This is The Invisible Man, starring Elizabeth Moss. This came out earlier this year before everything was locked down by the pandemic. I didn't get a chance to see it in the theater, and I haven't had a chance yet to watch it at home, but I've heard nothing but good things about this, and I'm quite surprised. Are you done? I'm quite surprised that this is, I believe this was supposed to be part of the Universal Dark Universe with their original Universal horror characters, the Universal monsters. I don't know if it's considered part of the Dark Universe or not now, because the first Mummy movie kind of bombed, but I'm glad this actually is a good film. Still haven't seen it yet, though. Another re-edition to my collection is the Blade Trilogy. This is Blade, Blade 2, and Blade Trinity. And this, I had them originally, I had them as three separate films, three separate three separate Blu-rays in three separate cases, but I did end up selling them. But this comes in three Blu-rays just in one set, and there is the third disc. Not a huge fan of the packaging, but it was cheap to get them all three in one box, so it's the 3-film collection. I've seen all of these. The first one is really good. The second one, surprisingly, I didn't like it very much, but because it was directed by Guillermo, I can't say his name, Guillermo del Toro, I think I should give it another shot because there's nothing he's done that I've disliked, so I may have just been in the wrong mood when I watched it. And then the third one is pretty terrible, but you can't have one or two and not have the third. Okay, coming up is something I picked up it up off of Amazon, but they were price matching Barnes & Noble, who were having the 50% off Criterion Collection films. So I picked up Come and See. This is a Russian film from 1987, I believe. 1985, I'm sorry. And I have heard nothing but good things about this, and I have not seen it yet. Clearly, it's still sealed. I have not watched it yet. But interestingly enough, this is a Criterion edition, but it is, unlike most Criterions, it is not Region A locked. It is also Region B, so that's kind of interesting. But I have just recommendations for decades about this film, and just decided I would plop down some cash and watch it. I've heard it's very, very good and well worth the Criterion treatment. These next two films I bought from Twilight Time, who are unfortunately going out of business. They were having a clearance sale, so I picked up one film that I've seen and one film that I haven't. The first is the one I've seen, and I actually saw this in theaters when I was a kid. This is Richard Dreyfuss in The Big Fix, and this is it's a comedy. This was made right at the height of Richard Dreyfuss's career. He was just coming off of Jaws and The Goodbye Girl. This was produced by him. The music's by Bill Conti, who did the music for Rocky, and this was directed by Jeremy Paul Kagan, who I am not familiar with at all. But I have good memories of this film. It was eons ago that I saw it, but I just had fond memories of seeing this film, and I think I've watched it a couple of times on HBO, also when I was a kid. But he plays a detective who is investigating some political stuff. I think he used to be like a protester in the 60s, and somebody's going after a candidate or something. I'm 100% not completely remembering the plot, but that's why I bought it, so I could watch it again. And the one that I did not see before, and I'm very interested to see, is Scream and Scream Again. This stars Peter Cushing, Vincent Price, and Christopher Lee. And with that lineup, I don't know how it could be anything but awesome. So I'm looking forward to watching this. And this is from 1969, I think. I'm old and can't read this copyright date in the light that I have, and obviously it's not very dark in here, but I think it's from 1969, 1970 it says. But it was directed by Gordon Hessler, which I think is interesting because he was the director of the Kiss film, Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park. And that movie is pretty regarded as being pretty terrible, but I know he has a great reputation, so I'd like to see something he did that was actually good. All right, the next 6 films are from my Hamilton book order. First up is The Illusionist. This is a film that I really, really enjoyed, and I mentioned to my wife that I picked it up, and she said she absolutely hated it, which I think is hilarious. But I really liked this film. It is really well acted. I liked the plot twists. I like the fact that you really don't know what's happening. Is it real or isn't it? It's just, Edward Norton is just fantastic in this, and this also features Paul Giamatti and Jessica Biel. Giamatti's also really good in this, but this is definitely Edward Norton's movie. This is sort of a romantic movie. It's kind of a fantasy movie. It's got a little bit of everything, but I really enjoyed it. My wife hated it, so. Picked up a steelbook. This is The Hunt for Red October, my favorite of the Tom Clancy, what's his name? Jack Ryan. I couldn't think of the character's name, but this is the only one that features Alec Baldwin as Jack Ryan. That role was then taken over by Harrison Ford, and then Ben Affleck, and then Chris Pine. But this film features the fantastic Sean Connery. I've been watching a lot of Sean Connery films lately. Just watched Meteor not too long ago, and Medicine Man. Really looking forward to watching this again. I saw this twice in the theater, really loved it. And getting a steelbook version was just the icing on the cake. This was only $8, I think, from Hamilton Book. So very cool to have that. Scratching my Japanese movie itch is this double set. This is The H-Man and Battle in Outer Space. I have never seen Battle in Outer Space. I've seen The H-Man before. I actually own it on in another set that features both of these films, but it's on DVD. It also comes with Mothra. But I have never seen Battle in Outer Space, and I'm looking forward to seeing that for the first time. I've seen bits and pieces of it, and I've watched a couple of reviews of it on YouTube, so it looks interesting. I don't know. I'll do a review of it once I watch it. Another film from my childhood is Earthquake. This was put out by Universal, I believe, Shout Factory, or what is Shout Factory's other label? Not Scream Factory, but there's another one like Shout Reserve or something like that. It's sort of a boutique, an even more specialized boutique label. Recently put out, or is going to put out, another version of this. But this is one of the big disaster films from the 70s. This features another, like, it's the classic 70s disaster film where it features a big cast, and you know, just the most ridiculous stuff happens, and it's just all complete histrionics and overacting, and just hilarity ensues. It's just completely over the top. But I remember seeing this in the theater, and I was pretty young. I think I was six or seven when I saw this in the theater. And it was a huge theater that had the Sensurround set up, and this was the first film that I saw in Sensurround. There were two others that played at that same theater, but what Sensurround was sort of like these subwoofers, and I don't know if they were placed around the theater, or anytime in Earthquake, anytime there was a tremor, these subwoofers would go off and it would literally shake your seat. It was kind of a gimmick to get people to go to the theater. And I remember it being awesome. And I think, if I'm remembering correctly, Midway, a 1976 war film, not the more recent one that just came out last year, but one that came out in 1976, was also done in Sensurround, and I went and saw that at the theater. The same theater was set up for Sensurround. There was another one that came and played at the theater, and I don't think I saw it. I can't remember what it was, but Earthquake should be fun, even though I don't have Sensurround set up in my house. I don't even know if they sell like branded Sensurround that you could get. Most subwoofer setups now would be just adequate enough to recreate at least some of the feeling, but it was pretty interesting in the theater when the whole thing was shaking. Another addition to my collection that is replacing something that I sold is the Man with No Name trilogy with Clint Eastwood. Of course, this has The Good, the Bad, the Ugly, Fistful of Dollars, and Hang 'em High, I believe. Why can I not remember that? Not Hang 'em High. Fistful of Dollars, for a few dollars more, and The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Sorry. But I've seen all of these. I saw a lot of these when I was a kid. The most recent one that I watched is The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I watched a few years ago. I love that movie, and I only have fond memories of these films from my childhood because that's when I watched them. So that's why I picked that up. And then the last of my Hamilton book order is the special edition of the Lego Movie. This has 2 discs, features a lot of special features. This is just a hilarious film. It's geared towards kids, but the humor in it is just fantastic. I love the depiction of Batman in it, and the music, as catchy, ridiculously catchy as it is, it'll stick in your brain, but it's a lot of fun. This is not a movie that you would typically associate with what I usually watch compared to all the other films that I've just shown you. But this is a lot of fun. The voice acting is just phenomenal. Check it out if you haven't. I have not seen the sequel. I heard it wasn't quite as good, but I just haven't gotten around to seeing it. All right, last but not least, I'll kind of go through these fairly quickly because you've already seen them before if you watched my Dollar Tree pickups video. But these are all from Dollar Tree. So I've got The Gallows, Every School Has Its Spirit. Since I picked these up, I was actually looking at some of the reviews of most of these films, and most of them are reviewed pretty poorly. But for $1, why not take a shot? So that's The Gallows. This one is Snow Girl and the Dark Crystal. This is a fantasy martial arts type film. It was directed by Academy Award winner Peter Powell. I don't know what he won an Academy Award for. It does not say on here, and I am not familiar with his name. But this is from Well-Go Entertainment, who are specialists in this type of film. They also put out the Phantasm films on Blu-ray, but more often than not, they put out martial arts stuff. This is a film that I've seen, and this is a really, really good film. This is Hired Gun. This is a documentary about touring musicians and how they are kind of at the whim of the people they play for. One thing I'll say about this film, if you were a fan of Billy Joel, this movie will make him seem like the biggest prick ever. He is referred to by Liberty DeVito, who was his drummer for a long time, and there are some pretty tasty tidbits of information about Billy Joel in this film. But it's a really good film. It features a lot of other people: Jason Hook, Phil X, Eric Singer, Ray Parker Jr., Jason Derrico, Rudy Sarzo, Kenny Aronoff, Jason Newsted, David Foster, Steve Vai, Alice Cooper, and Rob Zombie. Just a really, really interesting film if you like documentaries about musicians and rock and roll and stuff. And even if you don't, it's still pretty interesting. This is Anthem of a Teenage Prophet. I watched the trailer for this. This definitely looks like something that I may have some trouble getting through, but it looked interesting. But apparently this kid predicts that somebody will die in the next week, and then of course it happens, and then he sort of gets ostracized by the community. But of course he finds love in this girl. I don't know what her name is. Peyton List is her name. But Juliette Lewis is in this, and so it can't be 100% bad, but I'll give it a shot for $1. What the hell? This is Kill Katie Malone. Don't know anything about this other than that Dean Cain is in it. This is a DVD Blu-ray combo. It says never buy a demon on the internet for $1. This is the remake of the Amityville Horror from 2005, I believe. And I have not seen this. I mentioned in my Dollar Tree pickups that I didn't like the 1979 version. I read the book when I was pretty young, and it scared the crap out of me. The movie version didn't scare me. Of course, I'm also a lot older now. I watched it maybe a year or two ago for the first time. This looks like it's kind of thrown the book and the previous movie out the window and kind of rebuilt it around current trappings, horror trappings, like with a lot of jump scares and a lot of weird stuff going on. But it might be more interesting than the 1979 version. This is Bad Milo, a horror comedy. Reading a little bit about this, I've heard kind of some interesting information. I wasn't 100% sure what this is about, but apparently it's about a demon that lives in someone's intestines. So right there, you know it's going to be pretty off the wall. He has some stomach pain, and a pint-sized demon is living in his intestine. But I picked this up mainly because Peter Stormare from Fargo and 100 other movies where he usually plays the bad guy is in it. So that might be pretty entertaining. This is Frenzy. I think this has another name in other markets, but this was on the Sci-Fi Network. I have already seen this before. I actually did a review of it on my website, movieassault.com. It's not a great movie at all, but I'm a sucker for bad shark movies, and for $1, I figured I might as well add it to my collection. This stars Marissa Tomei. Dark Was the Night. I've seen quite a few other people pick this up. This looks interesting. I have no idea what it's about, but Marissa Tomei is always worth watching. This is Shock and Awe with Rob Reiner and Woody Harrelson, James Marsden, Tommy Lee Jones. This was directed by Rob Reiner. This is sort of an account of some press reporters investigating the claims by the Bush administration, the George Bush II, about the claims that Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction and how he was trying to get us into a war in Iraq. Should be pretty interesting. This is not a movie. This is actually a TV series. It's Being Human from BBC. This was something that I used to see advertised on the BBC America channel quite a bit when I was watching Doctor Who, and it looked really interesting, but it's a look into the lives of three 20-somethings and their secret double lives as a werewolf, a vampire, and a ghost. So it looked kind of cool. For $1, I mean, a whole season, and the seasons typically aren't very long on some of these BBC shows. I don't know how many episodes are actually on here, and it doesn't seem to say, but it does say it's 343 minutes, so I think each episode is an hour long. So that's I don't know, for $1, it's well worth it. So check that out. This is Distorted, starring Christina Ricci and John Cusack. I bought this mainly for the name recognition. Of course, Christina Ricci has been in a lot of things, most notably the Addams Family movies and Monster with Charlize Theron. And she's fairly decent as an actress, and John Cusack is one of my favorite actors. I did watch the trailer after I brought this home, and this just looks absolutely awful, to be totally honest. It's about a couple that moves into a smart apartment complex, and there's cameras everywhere, and they think that the cameras and the information that are being collected are being used for nefarious purposes. I don't know. We'll see. And then last but not least, this was an eBay pickup that was not a Blu-ray pickup, or was obviously a Blu-ray pickup. But I picked this up for $2.50, I believe, but it is Inception. Again, another film adding back to my collection. This was directed, of course, and written by Christopher Nolan, who is more known for the Batman, the Dark Knight trilogy. This was new sealed from 2012, so I figured why not pick it up. But then I just read that there's a new version coming out to celebrate its anniversary, its 10th anniversary. So it's been 10 years since this hit theaters, which makes me feel incredibly old. So there you go. That's my pickups for the month of July. All Blu-rays, no DVDs this month. The number of which was obviously helped by the low-cost Hamilton book order and the Dollar Tree. I've already got a few things on order for August. I'm looking to rebuild my DCEU collection because I got rid of most of those. I just recently wrote a review of Batman vs. Superman that I edited from a previous review that I wrote when I saw it in the theater. So I kind of polished it up a little bit, and it kind of made me want to watch the DCEU films from the beginning again, starting with Man of Steel. So I went and found a bunch of them cheap on eBay and ordered them, so they're on their way. So it's a little preview of what's coming up. Just a reminder, if you're interested in a chance at winning that Black Panther Blu-ray, click the link below and do that within the next day, because I'm actually picking a winner on August 1st. If you're watching this much later than the beginning of August or the end of July 2020, sorry, it's closed, and I already gave it away. So thanks again for watching. As always, feel free to rate this video by clicking the thumbs up, subscribing if you haven't done so already, and click the notification bell so you are notified when I make another video. And I promise I won't be doing just hauls on this channel. It's just been a lot of catch up and picking up things and the end of the month, and just a lot of coincidence. So I'll be doing some reviews very shortly. So thanks again for watching, everybody. Take it easy.